another episode of Mighty Car Mods, proudly supported by Just Car Insurance.
Now, recently in a 3-part series video, we turbocharged our little MX5.
And we made 10 times the factory power.
We doubled the factory power.
Okay, let's be honest, we made double the factory power, but it is an awesome little beast and it goes choo-choo.
That's right. Now, we're always going on about going to the racetrack to improve your driving skills and having a mad time in a safe environment.
That's right, a racetrack is like a condom for your car's penis. It's that extra level of protection. But street cars and race cars, they're two very different beasts.
So in this episode, we're going to attempt to make our little MX5 reliable on the street and competitive at the track.
This is our 1990 Mazda MX5. It's a roadster if you're from Japan, or a Miata if you're from America. The MX5 arrived at the MCM garage looking pretty sad. It had rust, ruined paint, and loads of parts that didn't work, and it only had 2 hours of rego left. After a few weeks of welding in new metal and scouring wreckers for parts, it was back on the road. Not long ago, we turbocharged it over 3 massive episodes of Mighty Car Mods, using mostly recycled and second-hand parts, plus a turbo that we ripped out of my 2009 Forester XT. It resulted in power going up to 147 kilowatts at the wheels, and transformed it from an okay car into a properly mad, ball-tearing driving experience. Now this resulted in an awesome street car, but where to from here? What do you do with a rear-wheel drive sports car with balls of power and go-kart-like handling? You take it to the racetrack.
Alright, out onto the track. The idea of this video is not to talk about how to drive on a track. This is literally this MX5's first time out on the track in its current form. Now I've got 147 at the rear wheels, which for this car is quite a lot. It's almost double the stock factory power. And there's quite a few MX5s out here today with factory power. And you know what? They're beating me. Now we won't go into driver skill, not in this video, because I'm definitely not the fastest driver out there, but there's a reason that those MX5s are beating me, and it's the fact that it does not come down just to power. There's so much more involved in getting a good time than just having bulk power, and it's a really, really good way to learn in this car. There is so much about grip, there's so much to do with braking. Of course, a lot of it's to do with picking a really good racing line in the first place. And of course you learn a track and you get better as you go. But what this track has done is expose a couple of flaws in this MX5. Flaws that we intend to fix to see if we can go any faster.
So to find out exactly what our MX5 needs to go faster, we found ourselves a professional racing driver who specialises in research and development, and he's going to take it around the track.
My name's Jeff Denmead. I've been racing for 30 years on 3 different continents. I've raced at Pikes Peak, won, raced at the Nürburgring, won, took the US Championship, and I instruct as a bit of a hobby, and I enjoy it. And I enjoy the meeting the students and watching them develop. I also enjoy developing vehicles and getting the better out of them.
So you would say you're qualified to drive this MX5 and give us some tips on what you think could be changed or fixed or modified to go better around the track, right?
I think I might just be qualified to drive the MX5.
Okay, good.
And maybe a little bit more on top of that.
So the background of this car is it's a budget street build. It's relatively pokey on the street. We want to find out how we can actually bring it to a track and be a little bit more competitive with the setup that we got and what we can change to do it.
Okay.
So yeah, anything you start to feel or you see or you think?
Right now I'm feeling a lot of vibrations. I don't know if that's the tyres. Normally the best way to warm up tyres is not swerving backwards and forwards. You want to get friction going. And nothing builds friction and temperature quicker than all that speed.
Right.
I'm feeling a bit of vibration. That might be the tyres or the wheels.
Yep.
A bit of understeer through here. I would say you probably have to look at doing a rear LSD. I'm learning more and more about the throttle.
Yep.
Learning more to modulate.
Would you say the power level is probably reasonable for the amount of grip and everything that we've got?
I'd say the power is probably almost ideal.
Yep.
It's just a matter now of controlling it. Running back to the rear sway bar.
Yep.
Have you got a bigger sway bar on this?
No, standard sway bar.
Standard sway bar. What about the front?
The front, I think it's all standard, mate.
Okay.
It's got like heavy duty shocks and springs and that's it.
Okay. Well, it feels really good on the throttle in a straight line.
Yep.
Just gotta be careful with the braking.
Yeah.
Around lock a wheel.
To not unbalance it, you mean, right?
Yeah. It's pretty balanced on the brakes, but now I know the front it doesn't have ABS, so just gonna be careful when I brake.
Yep.
Make sure there's balance across the front. Right now, I'd say I'd give this car a really good, strong 7.5 out of 10.
Oh, good.
Really good enjoyment.
It is a lot of fun to drive, isn't it?
Oh, I could be out in this thing all day.
And it does do that quite well, I think.
Well, that's a bit of a corner.
It is, yeah.
It's just there's no grip. You go through on grip, and then on your way out, because everybody slides there's no grip. And I think the car is, gee, I don't know, you know, I think you guys have done a pretty good job. This car is a good 7.5 out of 10. It's probably 80% there as a driver car.
Oh, wow. If the aim of the game was just to improve times, what would your first kind of 3-steps be, do you think?
I would probably, definitely that diff, I keep bringing that up, and I know you're aware of that.
Yep.
Probably look at slightly bigger brakes.
Yep.
The pads you got in here right now are really good. But I feel that I can be a lot braver if I knew I could brake later. But I'm afraid to brake later currently because I'm afraid of lockup.
Yeah, okay.
Where if we go to a bigger brake pad, even without ABS.
Can we save it? Yes, we can.
Who did that?
Oh, it wasn't me, I'm not driving.
Full throttle now. Shift at 6.5.
So that's we're hitting 160 on this straight before we start to slow down, and we hit a bit of traffic here as well.
Yeah, slightly wider rear rubber. Maybe we go the full 9 inches, which will allow you to run 255 series rubber on the back.
Oh, it's really hot, really hot.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay, well we just noticed the.
So we've given it a bit of a hiding. We've got it a bit hot under the collar.
Well, thank you for catching that.
That's all right. That's probably the hardest it's ever been driven in its entire life, so it's okay. That's fairly common when you've got double the power and standard cooling.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot with turbo MX5s.
Yeah, they do get a bit hot.
Well, you saw how many much more high-powered cars we were tormenting out there.
Absolutely. And that is basically a standard car with some springs and a turbo. It is coming down though, so that's good.
Yeah, it's coming down rapidly. That's a good sign. So definitely a rear diff.
Yep.
Wider, much wider rear tyres. You're going to go 9 inches on these and fit them right under. And I'd probably start there. Bigger brakes, if they can be done on the budget. Yep. Because that will allow a bit more late braking.
Yep.
Without having to lock the wheels. And your cooling system. And there's people out there, maybe in Australia as well as America, who may have a really good cooling system for these. With a bigger radiator.
Even ducting, I think, helps a lot with these things. Yep. Getting the air all through the radiator.
Well, ducting does help. Focus ducting does. Yeah. Because right now, a good 1/3 of all air at the front of the car can't get through the radiator.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is redirect it. Well, I think that's where you're at. It's just LSD cooling, brakes,
and some more rubber, some more grip.
Some more rubber.
But you think power-wise, as long as it can get it to the surface, then it's pretty adequate. Yeah. That's cool.
Once you put that new diff in it, it'll bring it alive. Yep. And once you put wider tyres on there, you'll be able to float through the corners a lot faster. It'll have a little bit of induced understeer, but that's okay. Yeah. Understeer is very fast.
Yeah. And predictable, right?
And predictable, yeah.
This is, as a budget track day package, it's on its way. It just needs a bit more.
Oh my God, it's on its way. Oh yeah, it's
and it's fun, right?
It's beyond fun. Great. It's a car that if you said you spent 10 grand on it, I believe you. Said you spent 15, I believe you. To do it for the money you've done, I think you've done a tremendous job. But as you go through these things, and as you start increasing more things, you start finding weak links in other things.
Exactly. Well, we found the weak link of it getting hot after 6 hot laps, right?
Yep.
Which is
6 well-paced laps.
It's not a race car, is it? You know?
No. But these are things you find out. You ran around before, it didn't happen, it didn't get hot. Get a driver in there to run it at pace. You say, okay, now we see a weak link.
Right. So we just did some R&D.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for that R&D. Really appreciate it. We're going to come back. It's going to be faster again, and Jeff's going to take it for another lap.
We look forward to it.
Yes.
Next time on Mighty Car Mods, we put safety first and install a roll bar in the MX5, and then we search the universe for parts to upgrade the brakes, coil packs, cooling and suspension. But will everything fit? Will the MX5 smash out some mad times? Will Flurpy love it? And will Drift Pig drift the Shizuoka out of it? Find out next time on Mighty Car Mods.